Hello everybody! If you're watching this video, you have made it to Valerie Ling, the page. I am Valerie Ling, your one and truly, one and only. Well, actually, no, there are a few, not very many Valerie Lings, but I am director founder for the Center for Effective Living, and I can't stop talking about burnout prevention. So if you've landed here on this video, please come back and visit the page and interact with me live, because this is where I will be talking about the number one thing that's on my mind. So it came to my brain the other day that a frequent thing that I do, and I talk about how my resiliency and burnout prevention work is more than just bubble baths, but I actually do regularly soak in the tub because it just helps me. And I've come to the point now where I can pretty much read a book in the time that I'm in my bathtub. And that's a product of two things. One is I've probably read enough material now that it's kind of becoming more of the same that gets said, because everybody's kind of drawing on the same frameworks and research. And the other thing is I'm probably so focused these days on the information that I think is necessary and relevant to continue in this work that I'm just becoming more efficient. So I do hope you will follow me, because the topics that I will be talking about are the ones that I'm myself am working with in my therapeutic frameworks to do with burnout. So the thing that I want to talk about today is how the micro sucks the marrow of the macro. The micro sucks the marrow out of the macro. What am I talking about? What I'm talking about is this. If you are in some kind of high energy, high intensity, high pace, high people work, right? You are constantly looking at details. That's just who you are as a technical person. And when you are working in that technical framework of doing an assessment or trying to figure out what's going on with this person, excuse me, or this particular situation, you are working through a technical framework, and it is only right that you would look at the details of the situation. Now, most times you will find that in HR management or organizational consulting work, there's always this tension of when someone is very good technically and very aligned technically, they struggle when they actually have to let go of that and do more macro type stuff. Strategy, planning, visioning, risk taking. And that is because the technical things that keep us feeling secure and sure about what we do on the ground is not necessarily required of us when we deal with the macro. Hey there, welcome to the Valerie Ling page. Let me know who you are and throw me a like. And so the more you focus on the micro, the more it sucks the marrow of the macro. Now, I can give you a whole bunch of psychological reasons as to why that happens. Okay, number one, there's an attentional bias that we know. The more you focus on something, particularly if you're starting to feel anxious, the more you're going to scan for that, and the more you're actually going to become very micro-specific, feed your anxiety, and possibly catastrophize. So there's an attentional bias. There's also a recency effect. The stuff that you focus on more recently and more of is going to cast a cloud or cast a kind of a catchment net on what you're likely going to be remembering. So I had a conversation today that actually reminded me that one of the reasons why we talk about in burnout prevention that you need to delegate, you need to focus more on the meaning of the work, etc., is because you want to actually get more macro in your view, right? You want to actually begin to enjoy, to live in the vision, to live in the forward direction of where you're going, and not be sucked into the micro detail all the time. Because when you're sucked into the micro detail, it starts to feel like it's a bit hopeless, or you're treading water, or it's not figuring, it's not working out. And that's largely because that micro is causing you to look at information and data that is not necessarily complete or in perspective. Okay? So my top tips: how not to let the micro suck the marrow out of your macro. When you feel like you're getting reactive and you're asking lots of little micro questions and you're Googling and you're starting to scan and figure out little bits of information to try to fix a problem, well, you need to actually look at that and label it that's just swimming in the micro. Stop. Okay? Take a break from that behavior. Ground it completely. Don't Google search anymore. Don't ask for any more opinions. Just stop all of that. And then you need to actually have a little bit of time, walk away from the situation, go and do some other bunch of stuff, start to retell your story again of why it is that you're doing the things that you're doing, talk about where you've come from, do all your successes, all your gratitudes, all your celebrations, and your timeline of celebrations. And then your vision gets cast back again to the macro. And you start to actually be rejuvenated and you start to actually feel re-energized and say, that's where I'm heading. All this little stuff is all pebbles and little bumps, but that's the ultimate direction. Okay, so don't let the micro suck the marrow from your macro. Have a great day.